I thought Sarah was the one. We'd been together for 5 years, lived together for 3, and we were even talking about getting married. Life was good, or so I thought. The signs were there, I guess, but I was too blinded by love to see them. She started working late more often, was always on her phone, smiling at texts she'd quickly hide if I came near. When I asked, she'd just say it was work or a friend. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. The truth came out in the most brutal way possible. It was our anniversary, and I'd planned a surprise. I came home early from work, flowers in one hand, reservations for her favorite restaurant in the other. I walked in ready to sweep her off her feet, but the only sweeping that happened was my heart being swept into a million pieces. There she was, in our living room with him. My best friend Mark. The shock was paralyzing. I just stood there, flowers dropping to the floor. The look on her face wasn't guilt, not at first. It was annoyance, like I'd just walked in on a private meeting. Mark looked terrified, scrambling for his clothes. I didn't shout, I didn't scream. I just turned around and walked out. I spent that night at a cheap motel, the silence ringing in my ears louder than any argument ever could. The next morning my phone was a minefield of missed calls and frantic texts from Sarah. "It's not what it looks like. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. A mistake. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash, not betraying 5 years of trust with my supposed best friend in our home." I ignored them all. I needed to think, to process the hurricane that had just torn through my life. Went back to our apartment when I knew she'd be at work. Walking into that space was like walking through a graveyard of our memories. Every photo, every souvenir, every little inside joke was now tainted. I packed a bag, just the essentials. My clothes, my laptop, my passport. As I was leaving, I saw the anniversary gift I'd bought for her sitting on the counter, a beautiful necklace. I almost left it, but then an idea, cold and sharp, started to form in my mind. Revenge. I knew I couldn't just walk away. They thought I'd break, that I'd be a wreck. Sarah probably expected me to come crawling back, begging for an explanation, ready to forgive. She always said I was too forgiving, too soft. She was about to find out just how wrong she was. My plan wasn't about shouting or public scenes. It was going to be quiet, precise, and devastating. I started by playing the part of the heartbroken boyfriend. I finally answered her calls, my voice choked with fake tears. I let her spin her web of lies, how it meant nothing, how she loved me, how we could fix this. I agreed to meet her, to talk things through. She was so relieved, so confident she had me wrapped around her finger. That was exactly what I wanted. The first part of my plan targeted Mark. He was a freelance graphic designer, and I knew he had a huge project he was desperate to land. It was his chance to finally go big. I also knew his work habits, or lack thereof. He was lazy, often reusing old assets and cutting corners. I created an anonymous email account and sent a detailed tip to the company he was pitching to, complete with examples of his past work where he'd plagiarized designs. I didn't have to lie, I just had to point them in the right direction. Within a week, I heard through the grapevine that he had not only lost the contract but was facing legal trouble. His career was in shambles. One down. Next, Sarah. Her world revolved around her social status and her perfect life. She was a manager at a boutique PR firm, and her reputation was everything. She was also incredibly vain and had a secret she guarded fiercely. Dee spent a small fortune on cosmetic procedures, but told everyone she was all natural. She even ran a small blog about natural beauty and wellness. The hypocrisy was staggering. I had access to our shared cloud account, something she'd forgotten about in her haste. And there they were, receipts, consultation notes, before and after photos she'd saved for her own reference. It was a goldmine, but I didn't just want to expose her. I wanted to do it with flair. Sarah was organizing a major charity event for her company. It was her baby, the culmination of months of work, high-profile clients, media, the works. It was her night to shine. And I was going to make sure it was a night no one would ever forget. A few days before the event, I made up with her. I told her I forgave her, that our love was stronger than this. She cried. She hugged me. She said she knew I'd understand. She bought it, hook, line, and sinker. She was so consumed with her own relief that she didn't see the wolf she was welcoming back into the fold. She even invited me to the charity gala, wanting to show everyone that we were back together, that her perfect life was intact. Perfect. The night of the gala arrived. Sarah was radiant in a designer gown, holding my arm, smiling for the cameras. She was in her element, networking, laughing, the queen of her little kingdom. I played the supportive partner, smiling, nodding, all the while my heart was pounding with a cold, thrilling rhythm. The main presentation was the centerpiece of the evening. A huge screen was set up to show a video montage celebrating the charity's work. Sarah was scheduled to give a speech right after. I had a friend who worked in a V, and a little social engineering and a small cash payment gave me what I needed. A few minutes of remote access to the presentation laptop. As Sarah walked towards the stage to introduce the video, I excused myself to the restroom. The lights dimmed. The video started, showing heartwarming images of the charity's work. The audience was captivated. Then about a minute in, the screen flickered. The heartwarming montage was abruptly replaced. The first image that flashed on the giant screen was a receipt for $50,000 in cosmetic procedures from a clinic in another city. Then, the pre-op photos. Then the post-op photos. Then, screenshots from her natural beauty blog next to the clinic's invoices. A collective gasp rippled through the silent ballroom. People started murmuring, pulling out their phones. I had timed it perfectly. The presentation software crashed, leaving a picture of her blog post titled, "Why I'll Never Let a Needle Touch My Face," frozen on the screen for a full 30 seconds before it went black. I walked back into the ballroom just as the lights came up. All eyes were on Sarah, who stood frozen on the stage, her face ashen. The confident, radiant queen was gone, replaced by a horrified, humiliated woman. Her boss was rushing toward her, his face a mask of thunder. Her clients were staring, whispering. Her perfect world had just been nuked from orbit. She saw me standing at the back of the room. Our eyes met across the sea of shocked faces. In my gaze, she didn't see the heartbroken, forgiving man she thought she knew. She saw the architect of her ruin. The realization dawned on her face, followed by pure, unadulterated fury. But it was too late. The damage was done. I didn't stick around, just gave a small, almost imperceptible nod, turned and walked out of the hotel, leaving her to face the fallout. I never saw her again. Heard she was fired the next day. Her blog was deleted. Her social circle abandoned her. She and Mark apparently tried to make a go of it, two disgraced people clinging to each other in the wreckage, but it didn't last. Last I heard, she moved back to her hometown, and he was working a dead-end job. Some might say what I did was cruel, that I should have just moved on, but they weren't the ones who had their trust shattered, their home violated, and their love treated like it was disposable. She thought I would forgive her. She thought I was weak. She was wrong. They built their secret relationship on lies, and I just used the truth to tear it all down. I regret nothing. My only regret is that I didn't see who she really was sooner. But now my life is my own again. That's a revenge sweeter than anything I could have planned. Thanks for listening to my story. It was a tough time, but getting it all out helps. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and that your healing is the most important thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.